spelled LAWRENZOJACOBS.com. Also, today, as always, we have a fly ass show for you. We have magic and manifestation in the news. We have our word of the day, word of the week you can listen up for. I'm going to share with you some words of wisdom. And then today I'm going to do something different. I have my Archangel Gabriel cards. They're messenger readers. They've been talking to me recently. And maybe you guys will receive a message the same way that I've received messages. So we'll have a message for everybody that hopefully can continue to keep people positively inspired, motivated, and encouraged. But I'm excited today. I'm bringing to you something new and some news you can use. So let's go and get into the show. Hello. So first off, I wanted to talk about some of the recent deaths, some things that's been going on in the news. Rest in peace, Sidney Poitier. For the youngsters that may be listening and wondering who Sidney Poitier, he was one of the first melanated Ocubulanian, whatever you would like to call. Some people call black, but melanated actors. First time I seen Sidney Poitier was in Old School Heat of the Night. But he's been in a few top ranked movies. I would want to say that that is the place, or that's the person that Denzel Washington got inspired as his acting poise. But yeah, Sidney Poitier just passed. Rest in peace, Sidney Poitier. Also, Betty White. Betty White passed. The infamous Golden Girl. She transitioned. I still didn't really know like the story with Betty White. Was she really an alcoholic? And I know she has the Betty White Center for people that are attempting to clean their lives from alcoholism. But was she really an alcoholic? I have to look that up. Was Betty White an alcoholic? Because that happened for the new year, right around the new year. I didn't bring that up. Okay, so Betty White, she says drinking vodka and eating hot dogs is her secret to longevity and living long. That's her secret. So rest in peace, Betty White. And then most recently, we have Bob Saget that died in his sleep here in Florida. That was the guy, Caucasian guy, that he did. If anyone ever watched America's Funniest Home Videos, I really want to say he started that, but Bob Saget is also the guy from Full House, the tall dad, the level-headed guy. He was a comedian. So rest in peace, Bob Saget. And I bring these deaths up today because I was reminded that death is the beginning of something else. And being afraid to live is fulfilled in death. Like, people are afraid to live, especially in these times with the craziness in the world, with the I'll just say the sicknesses. They got key words that jump up and that can block you from being heard. So I'm just going to say the sicknesses. The sicknesses and the stabber jabbers. How about that? The stabber jabbers, because we know how that go. And I have even found myself having to be aware in my own mind with living my best life, living up and fulfilling my own personal potential and the things that I feel best at. So death is just the beginning of something else. Rest in peace to everyone that has lost or has known somebody that has transitioned into what we call death. But from my perspective and from what I know, that life is something, and there's an opposite pole to what we would consider life, and that is, in word, what we consider death. And there's many people we can easily identify, especially before all the stabber jabber sicknesses and things, that were dead, but they was walking dead. And for whatever reason, when you're encountered face to face with death, and you have still an opportunity here in this realm to live, you really live more vicariously, more open, more ambitiously. So I definitely wanted to start today's podcast out not morbidly, but really just giving honor and thanks to all the ancestors, those before us, and truly people that have passed, transition, or in the realm of the dead, are in a state that is before us, because we'll eventually one day experience that state. So for now, you hearing my voice, we just appreciate all the ancestors that are with us and those that came before us and that are before us, sharing this space and time with us, because they're really in an infinite place and space. So what else? What other magic in the news? 10-year challenge. The 10-year challenge has taken the social media by storm. 10-year challenge everywhere. I seen this on Facebook, Instagram. I've seen this all over the place. The 10-year challenge. Have you participated? I know I have. 10 years, my beard wasn't even as thick and as long. But interestingly, looking at myself, I have been able to maintain a certain kind of body formation or working out, staying physically active, making sure I stay hydrated. So my hair is longer, my information and game and knowledge is stronger. Y'all share and y'all tap in with your 10-year challenge picks. That'll be interesting. I know 10 years ago, although I talked a whole lot, even then, we wasn't doing any podcasting. So I'm talking about everybody got podcasts nowadays. So I'm just in the mix, trying to place a little bit of something of me where it ain't, and hopefully provide y'all with some entertainment and news y'all can use for yourselves. So yeah, I would love to see what y'all look like 10 years ago. Was that 2011? So, and for those that's listen to this in the future, let me see what y'all look like in the future. Y'all can show yourselves off. Hello. Some more magic and fulfillment in the news. Yeah, man, they out here showing all types of 10-year challenges. I think the best 10-year challenge I saw was somebody showed the exotic, the Zaza, the strength or the grade or the strain of marijuana today in comparison to 10 years ago. I ain't gonna say 10 years ago I was smoking off of a brick. The smashed up compressed weed. I ain't gonna say that because definitely 10 years ago I was still able to get high quality, high strain of marijuana. But I think that was one of the funniest ones outside of inflation, knowing that 10 years ago minimum wage was $7.25, around $8. It may have raised a little bit. So y'all show me what y'all look like, what y'all think of. Share with me your 10-year challenge. I know in 10 years this podcast will definitely look different. So this will be a testament to that. I gotta keep going, gotta keep on pushing. You know. Hello. What other news we can use? Magic and fulfillment. Oh, okay, here we go. I know what I wanted to share with you guys. Being childlike in my innocence of optimism. I was reading a book, as I do always every day, earlier this week, and it was talking about being optimistic and childlike and innocence with that optimism. And it had me thinking about how when, like, my daughter, 18 months, she just getting up, I can hear her moving around. So we might even get a taste of her on the radio podcast broadcast show today. But being optimistic like a child doesn't get up and say, damn, I may not get any food today. They are already ready to play when they get up, right? So what happened to us as adults? What happened to, and when I and that's a blanket statement because I know there's a lot of people that listen to my voice, listen to the Young Untouchable podcast broadcast show, and know that we're highly optimistic, ambitious, motivated, and inspired, and would want to throw that energy through the microphone to the ears of the listeners and the minds and hearts of those that tune in. So, what keeps you childlike? What are some things that you focus on that really keeps you optimistic about life? Best questions get the best answers. And I know for myself, I'm aware that the things that I really want to do, I have the opportunity to do, probably being instilled from a very young age. Even my dad telling me I don't have to do anything I don't really want to do. Plus, being in a situation where many know my story that I've been incarcerated, uh, or I was incarcerated, charged as an adult at the age of 15, one of the youngest, in the Tennessee Department of Correction, and being served 10 years. So from my adolescent years to my early young gentleman years, I was incarcerated and going through the judicial system and having someone uh, telling me what to do, so to say, or being in a place or in a position where I had limited opportunities and resources to do or to act upon my own imagination, being in this so-called free world, I'm able to apply or act more instantaneous, more spontaneous, more in the right now with my thoughts. And that's what really keeps me optimistic, because behind that wall in the penitentiary and prison, the punishment, or one of the greatest punishments for myself, was when I had a good idea or when I crossed a thought or was inspired from a book or from someone else to do something. The limited amount of resources that I had, I was unable to create. I was unable to act that out. Literally, I didn't even have. I'm in a all male prison, jail, so I couldn't. I'm not, nothing against anybody that's homosexual, but I'm not homosexual. Never had those tendencies, so I was unable to create from a realm or dimension of who I am inside. And I would say the person that I'm inside, my being, is the same being, is the same childlike person that was creating the thoughts, the voices when I was a youngster throughout my years, having just experience. So being childlike in my innocence of optimism, that's what really keeps me optimistic. But y'all can tap in, let me know what y'all think. What keeps you childlike? What keeps you optimistic about life? I would definitely like to hear that. Some more magic in the news you can use and be fulfilled. I wanted to share a deeper thought. And as y'all know, the conversation gets to moving. It might be slow in the beginning, but we're gonna share with you things, real words, real things that I've been real things that I've been experiencing in real time throughout these previous days and visions. Many would call a week. I'm gonna call it a strong. And I've had to take notes, or I write a lot of these things down. So the question that I would propose is, why is it important to plan your life? It's still being the top of the new year, brand new year. If you're hearing me for the first time, why is it important to plan your life? Like, why is it literally important to create a story or a blueprint of what to focus on and cultivate in your life? And I know immediately in thought when I asked myself this question live, Young Untouchable Family Podcast broadcast show right now, Lorenzo, is that if I didn't have a direction, like traveling from Florida to California, if I didn't have a direction or a map or an idea of places that I would stop at for gas, things that I may encounter, even the highway system, then I wouldn't feel real confident. I wouldn't feel good about where I was going. Because California, just looking at the map, looks like it's a far distance from Florida. There's all the other states in between. Me being a person that has traveled, and that is a traveling man, that if I didn't have direction and a blueprint, I could end up anywhere. I could end up in South Carolina, Maine. If I just rode 65 all the way up, I'd be in New York, New Jersey somewhere. So knowing that somewhere I need to hit I-10, I can hit I-10. I-10 will take me from the panhandle of Florida, across Louisiana, all the way across Texas into California. Or I can drive up, think, what is that, 65, and hit 40. And 40 will take me all the way across the nation. But I would need a blueprint. I would need to have a plan and to look at that to see if that would be something I can accomplish, basically. And then there's back streets. There's all types of ways. There's places I can stop depending on what kind of vehicle and how much gas I have. So that's important. That's an important reason to plan your life out. Let alone knowing that many people haven't traveled outside of their own city or state. So having a blueprint or a plan where I can travel and be confident in the direction that I'm going in life, talking about a 10-year challenge, how many people plan out or think about where they're going to be in 10 years and work to achieve those things? If that's something that is a heavy question, then definitely I would say something to think about. And even more so, a reason that I would inspire and motivate a person to get a 2022 journal, get a journal, get something that you're going to write your plans, create a story for your own life in, because we know that for the person like a mason or a construction worker building a building, if they don't have a plan or a blueprint, then they're unable to even get started. They don't have any foundation. They don't know what's going on, what it's going to look like. And if they just start slapping bricks down and they just start measuring off walls and constructing with no idea, a thought, a plan, or blueprint, that building, if it is even a building, in the end, definitely won't stand. Because where are the people that are working together, working to achieve? See, when I come on here on this podcast show, this is a mission. This is a part of my blueprint and plan. And although I am just a man, if I had to choose and decide man or mission, it's going to be the mission every time. Because man or fail, I'm a mess up. I may lay a brick that's not the correct brick. I may use the wrong screws. I had seen on social media that this guy built a whole deck using the wrong nails. I don't know what the outcome was, if they had to tear it up or they left the construction site as it was. But think about if your whole life, because you didn't have a blueprint or plan, you used the wrong thing. And now it's at the end of your life. You're about to transition, experience another dimension, and you realize, damn, I could have wrote things down and had a better direction for my life. Huh. And it's scientifically proven. There's many people, there's many people, it's been scientifically proven in research that there are people on their deathbed, and that's one of their greatest regrets, not doing something that they really wanted to do, or not having enough direction or optimism or ambition or confidence in their life to do something that they really wanted to do, because others, they was listening to other people that was doing the same thing that they was doing, not planning, not being focused, not ambitious. They didn't have resilience. So, man, the importance of having a plan for your life. It is so important. So important. And if you're just tuning in and you're like, why is this guy talking about just randomness? It's not really random. Once again, this is Young Untouchable Family Podcast broadcast show. I'm here to share with you my experience through the wonderful world of my words, to document and to inscribe in the minds of those that listen some positive inspiration, motivation, and encouragement to do more through the demonstration of how I live and the things that I've experienced. So, man, we got to have plan out here, because what's the cliche? A man that fails to plan, plans to fail. I know it sounds cliche, but that's what they say. So if you have yet to create a plan for your life, and many people don't feel left out, because the majority of people I've recognized in asking these questions and talking the way that y'all receive my conversation and articulation on a weekly on this podcast broadcast show, I know for sure through my own experience, many people are stuck having to, especially when I meet them in real life, having to dismiss themselves from the conversation or having to think about it later on. So the beauty of this broadcast show is that you can always stop, ask yourself the best question. Why is it important to plan your life? What do you want the creation of your life and blueprint to focus on, or what would you want to cultivate? And then you can push play again once you get those answers for yourself and write it down in your 2022 journal, and you'll be able to have the beginning thoughts or create a foundation and blueprint for your life, for you. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description or somewhere around where it can be found, so that you can go to Amazon and order your own personal 2022 journal. It's still brand new in the year. So if you have yet to plan even where you would want to achieve or where you would want to go for this year, feel encouraged. Know that you're not alone, that you can join the 1% of people that act on the information that they're given. This is news you can use. Also, on a personal note, actively, I've been able to grow my my investment portfolio account by 10% this week. This has been awesome in seeing how the economy is moving and how the dollar is weakening. So, high five and kudos to all the investors, those that are putting their money to work for them. Keep going. I know a lot of times people may not comprehend and understand what you're doing it for, but I grasp it. 10% for the week is a greater return of interest on my dollars working than the bank will ever give me throughout the course of a year. I think the in savings, if you had $10,000 in savings just saved up in the bank, shoot, you may get 30 cents on $10,000 for the month. You might get 30 cents, anywhere between 30 and 18 cents for the month. So to have grown my investment portfolio by 10%, man, I'm doing better than the banks. So definitely wanted to share that with you. Okay, now the word of the day, the word of the week, until we see each other again. Routine. The word routine. 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 What is a routine? A sequence of actions performed regularly. Y'all know I like how words are put together, formulated, and used. So my daily routine is to get up, to awaken, to rise as early as possible. Make sure I drink me some agua, some water, some H2O, some hydrogen, and oxygen molecules. Put that into this spaceship that's definitely taking up space, so that I can be at optimum level to meditate on my mind, the things that I know, to revert or to consult to my personal blueprint for the day, for the week, for the month, for my life, and actively do something about it. As it says, a routine is a sequence of actions performed regularly. And many people, from my experience, from what I've seen, many people's routines is really not that much. They would routinely want to do as least or as less as possible, which it performed regularly becomes a person's routine. But unfortunately, whatever they're doing or would attempt to do would grow or has a stunt of growth. So there go another best question that you can ask yourself, that I've asked myself and made sure that I'm focused on the best routines for me. What are some actions, or what are the things or the sequence of actions that you perform most regularly? That's your routine. That becomes your ritual. And as I said on my Facebook page, your daily rituals create the magic. That's the magic of your life. Your daily rituals create the magic in your life. So if your daily ritual is not to do that much, don't be surprised if in your life you create not that much. So that's the word for the day, for the week, until I talk to y'all and see y'all next time. Routine. We're going to tap in and see if we stay on point with our routine. This is even a routine, this podcast broadcast show. Hello. Moving right along. I'm going to do something new today. I'm going to share with you messages from my oracle, and then I'm going to get into meditation. I done already talked y'all head off about 40 minutes or so we're gonna keep it, at least attempt to keep it up on an hour. Let's go ahead and I don't know if I've ever shared this story with you guys this year about these oracle cards, or how many people listening know the story about my Archangel Gabriel cards. But these cards was given to me by a dad of a gypsy. They really have provided me with positive inspiration and motivation and a message. So, what's the message that we can use? What is the message today that we can use that is going to be a message that is going to be applicable for what we do? Let's see what the message is. And the card that jumped out is sensitivity. Sensitivity. Before I read this card, I'm going to share with you thoughts that immediately come to my mind when I think of sensitivity. Being sensitive to spirit, the message, the kingdom of God in me, to share with you that's listening on this podcast, broadcast show, a message that you can use. So let's go ahead and read what's on this card. Your sensitive feelings are your muse and inspiration for your creativity. News you can use, y'all. Trying to tell you. Your sensitive feelings are your muse and inspiration for your creativity. Your sensitive feelings are your muse and inspiration for your creativity. Once again, I think of being sensitive to the words that I apply in describing and defining my reality for the listeners of this podcast broadcast show, being sensitive and aware of what I would want to create by and through and with the listeners and those that connect with me. You can get more of an idea of my sensitivity by following me on all social media platforms. Lorenzo Jacobs, that's LAWRENZO JACOBS. It is for me, once again, sensitivity is how sensitive you are gives way to how much you can describe or define or divide in word or in feeling to be able to create. Like I was sharing also earlier in the podcast about me being incarcerated, that many people, even today, a person listening may feel like they're in prison and have never experienced prison themselves, but due to lockdowns or different mandates or imaginary laws that have been imposed or placed on others, they may feel sensitive, that in a way that they're being crushed out or they're not being able to show their inspiration or creativity. Like an empath, if you're very sensitive to other people's feelings and you're encountered by somebody that may feel less than their best, you may start feeling like that. So sensitivity, your sensitive feelings are your muse and inspiration for your creativity. I'm reminded that if you are feeling less than your best, that you can be an alchemist. You can turn the negative into positive, the lead into gold. What may be heavy on your soul, you can give it some Red Bull and grow wings. But really though, you'll be able to experience a different mode. So depending on how sensitive you are, some people aren't that sensitive to their feelings. Some people have, I know at one time and place that I didn't listen or feel as sensitive as I do now, or being aware of those thoughts, sensitivity. So in my mind, And even sometimes in my actions, I was doing the same thing other people were doing, or attempting to fit in by wanting to do or attempting to do what other people were doing. So sensitivity, hopefully that brings a message to you. I know that that's a message for me, to even be more sensitive to other people's feelings, thoughts, inspirations, and creativity. So know that if you have an idea that you haven't brought into fruition and that you want to, you can tap in with me. I'll be like your online friend and help you out and see what we can create and what it can be. And with full moon coming into Cancer, this is the full moon, the first full moon of 2022. Cancer being a very emotional sign, sensitive in its own way. I'm aware of that. Full moon coming up. So the energy is definitely different. I'm sensitive to that energy, so I'm aware of what I would want to create, what I would want to complete in fruition. So y'all let me know if you're sensitive and creating something, what the message brings to you. And then I wanted to read out of 365 Tao, this daily meditations. The daily meditations for today. And if you like what y'all hear and enjoy it, like I said, definitely follow me on Facebook. You can go to Young Untouchable Family every day, early in the AM, right when I get up in the AM. One of my routines, one of my routines is sharing my daily meditations with you and reading, so that I literally have a documentation, a reminder, even for myself, the direction that I'm planning on going. So it's all documented. I can see my own progression. It can encourage and inspire me, motivate me when I feel less than my best to keep moving forward. So, time, the river, surging course, uninterrupted current, headwater, channel, mouth. Can they be divided? Each day, we all face a peculiar problem. We must validate our past, face our present, plan for the future. Those who believe that life was better in the old days sometimes are blind to the reality of the present. Those who live only for the present frequently have little regard for either precedent or consequence. And those who live only for some deferred reward often strain themselves with too much denial. Thinking of past, present, and future is a useful conceptual technique, but ultimately they must be appropriately balanced and joined. We must understand how the past affects us. We should keep the present full of rich and satisfying experiences, and we should devote some energy each day to building for the future. Just as a river can be said to have parts that cannot be clearly divided, so too should we consider the whole of our time when deciding how to spend our lives. Now, if that isn't synchronistic to the message of all that I share today, I don't know what is. And this is unrehearsed. This is a book that I share each day. A meditation. I can meditate, and we have meditated, and we have been meditating on something similar to this already, about validation of our past, being able to face what we're going through presently, and to plan for the future. I don't know what else more to say. Like time, I've already shared almost an hour of my time with you. That's what I focus on when I come on my podcast, to share about an hour or so. I definitely want to also say that if anyone has any questions, that you can email me at younguntouchablepamily2, that's younguntouchablepamily, the number 2, at gmail.com. Just put in the subject podcast questions or thoughts. Y'all can always hit me up on IG. Y'all can DM me, Lorenzo Jacobs, or any other social media that y'all come in contact with. But time is so important, and I recognized for myself doing certain things with my time throughout the day routinely. The word of the day for today, having a sequence or a system of actions. I was telling my woman that once you're able to create a system that really works for you, that you can apply that system in other different aspects of your life, and it can really help assist you manage time. Because what I found in my experience here, opportunity I call life, is creating something that makes sense with the time that I'm given. And fortunately or unfortunately, what I've recognized for myself is a lot of times it takes for a person to disappear from here, transition, die, and the things that have been left behind by that person helps define or redefine someone else's life. And in that time that they use, a lot of times they have no recollection or idea of where those things come from. So definitely wanted to share that in here. I think that's a good hour segment for today. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. I'm coming every week with a new podcast broadcast show. I'm your host, Lorenzo, Young Untouchable Family. Check me out. I'm everywhere like air, coming to share with you my personal perspective and point of view through my wonderful world of words, sharing with you some positive inspiration and motivation that'll get you through the same thing that I'm going through, living life. So y'all continue to have a wonderful day. I'll talk to y'all soon.